Hey, it's Jamel Gibbs, and welcome to another House Flipping 101. Today we're going to talk about 5 ways to wholesale REO houses. The reason why you have these 5 methods is because banks do not allow you to assign REO houses. So if you're dealing with a regular private owned seller, then you can sign a contract and then you can simply assign that contract to another investor for profit. But banks don't allow you to assign these contracts, so you have to be a little creative with bank-owned properties. And again, the first way that you can actually do it, and for me it's the easiest way, it's the cleanest way, and most title companies will not have a problem doing this type of closing, is a double closing. And this is basically when you, as a real estate investor, you sign a contract, okay, with a bank. So you lock up a deal with the bank. Then what you look to do is sell that that property that you just tied up with the bank. You're looking to sell it to another investor, but again, you cannot assign that contract. So what you're going to have to do is line up something called transaction funding. Okay, now if you go to Google and you type in transaction funding, there's a million companies out there who can offer you transaction funding. You don't need any credit. You don't need any money in the bank. They don't care about any of that stuff. The only thing they care about is you having an actual buyer on the other end, so that when they fund that transaction for you, you can then sell that property to your buyer and they can get their money back plus a fee. Okay, so keep that in mind. So again, you can use a double closing in which you can line up transaction funding. A company will actually fund the transaction for you, which is the A to B closing, okay? And then you'll have the B to C closing with you and your cash buyer. Remember, you are always the B, the bank is always the A, and your cash buyer is always the C. The next way that I wanted to discuss was a dry closing. Okay, now what a dry closing is you not actually coming with transaction funding. It's the same concept as the transaction funding type of deal. The only difference is you're not actually coming to the table with transaction funds. Now, I got to tell you that most title companies are not comfortable doing this type of transaction. So if you have a relationship with the title company, I'm sure they will not mind. I've been doing business with my title company for years now, and they don't have a problem doing dry closings for me. Okay, so what a dry closing is you again, you're always the B in the transaction when you're doing these types of closings. But what your title company is going to do, they're going to close the B to C transaction first. So again, you're the B, your cash buyer is the C. Okay, so they're going to close that transaction, and then they're going to float the funds from that transaction over to the A to B transaction. Okay, so you'll have the B to C closing first, and then you'll have the A to B closing, in which the title company will take the funds from the B to C to fund the A to B between you and the bank. Okay, and then you'll obviously keep the spread in between. Another way to close REO houses and to wholesale them to cash buyers is by using something called a quick claim deed. Just to give you an example, if you've ever gotten a divorce and you own real estate with your spouse, and your spouse decided to keep the property, in order for your spouse, in order to get full rights in the property, you would have to sign something called a quick claim deed. So you can actually use that same strategy with wholesaling REO houses. And the way that works is this: you'll basically sign a contract between you and the bank, okay? And then what you're going to do is you're going to start looking for your cash buyer. And once you find your cash buyer, you're going to go back to the agent and say, look, you know, I got a partner that I want to bring on to the deal. Can we add my partner to this contract and update the proof of funds through something called an addendum? And basically what the addendum is going to allow you to do is bring your partner on, which is your cash buyer, and use update the proof of funds and use their funding, their proof of funds as your proof of funds, okay? And then at the closing table, what's going to happen is you're going to the title company is going to close the title with you and your cash buyer's name on the deed, okay? And then what you're going to do at the table is sign something called a quit claim deed. And you're only going to sign this quit claim deed agreement when you've actually been paid from your cash buyer. And that releases all of your rights in the property. Okay, that's another clean way that I find that, you know, my title company, they really don't have a problem doing as well. So it really depends, you know, on the bank. It depends on the deal. It depends on a lot of situations, and that's why you have multiple ways to close these types of transactions. Okay. Now, another method that I actually talk about on one of my webinar presentations is closing the property under an LLC and then selling the LLC to your cash buyer. And what's actually happening behind the scenes is you're signing a contract under an LLC, okay? And yes, you have to invest into an LLC. It's not that expensive to do so. If you're in states like New York or, you know, California, where an LLC is $1,500, this is probably not an investment strategy for you. You might want to go with the double closing or the dry closing, or, you know, maybe the quit claim deed method, or even a land trust method, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But, you know, if you're in a state like Pennsylvania, Ohio, you know, Michigan, where an LLC can range anywhere from $50 to $250, then I would definitely recommend this strategy. It's a small investment, you know, compared to the amount of money that you're going to make. Listen, in real estate investing, you're going to sacrifice something. You're either going to sacrifice money or you're going to sacrifice time. You know, if you sacrifice a little bit of money, then obviously you're going to make money a lot faster. If you want to sacrifice time, that's fine. If you don't have a lot of money, that's totally understandable, but you're going to have to work a little harder in order to make it happen for yourself. And, you know, that's just the plain facts. I'm not here to sugarcoat anything for you. But again, just to get back to what we were talking about, you can flip an LLC. And basically what you're going to do is sign a contract under an LLC, and then you're going to start looking for your cash buyer, make sure that they agree to purchase that company from you. Then at the closing, all you're going to do is assign your LLC over to your new cash buyer and sign the IRS docs that, you know, that it takes in order to sell the company. Now with land trust, the way this works is you'll basically sign a property under a trust, okay? And when you find your cash buyer, all you're going to do is assign your beneficiary rights in that trust over to your cash buyer. And then ultimately what you're going to do is fire your personal representative, and your cash buyer will have to find their own personal representative. So those are the 5 methods. You have the double closing method, you have the dry closing method, you have the quit claim deed method, you have the LLC method, and you also have the land trust method. So that basically covers my house flipping 101 video. That covers everything that I really wanted to talk about. Again, there's 5 simple ways to wholesale REO houses. Let's recap that for a minute. You have the double closing, you have the dry closing, you have the quit claim deed, the LLC method, and the land trust method. So that's 5 ways. And I cover all of these in full detail in my Real Estate Repo Riches system. You can check out the system if you want by going to realestatereporiches.com. And also, if you visit that site, I give you a free 4-part video series on how to actually do exactly what I'm talking about in this video, how to wholesale REO houses. I talk about why it's a huge opportunity for you, and how you can take advantage of it on those videos. And then you can also get access to my webinar if you follow through those videos as well. But again, go to realestatereporiches.com. I appreciate you watching this video, this house flipping 101 video training, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below this video if you're on YouTube, or if you're on my blog, then leave a comment below. Let me know what's on your mind. I'll see you on the next house flipping 101. I'm actually about to go to my backyard, jump into the pool, crack a cold Sam Adams, and hang out with the kids. So I'll see you soon.